Ladies and gentlemen, you see, life's not going to hand you anything. You want something, you got to go out there and take it. You can't be sitting around waiting for the world to recognize your talents, your hard work, or your potential. You got to go out there and put in the effort, even when no one's watching. Because here's the truth, work hard in silence. Let me tell you something right now. People will talk about you, and they will talk about what you're doing or what you're not doing. They'll criticize you, they'll laugh at your dreams, they'll doubt you. But guess what? None of that matters. What matters is what you do when no one's watching. What matters is how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much you're willing to endure, how much you're willing to push when the world says you can't. You don't need to tell people what you're doing. You don't need to post every moment of your journey on social media. You don't need to announce your plans, your moves, your goals. Let your actions speak for you. Let your work speak louder than your words. Because if you're truly working hard, if you're truly focused on your craft, then I'm not saying you don't need support. You need people who believe in you, who will encourage you when times get tough. You need mentors, friends, and loved ones to help guide you when the road gets rough. But the truth is, there's going to be moments, long stretches of time, when you're out there alone. And that's okay. You got to learn how to be comfortable with solitude. You got to learn how to be at peace with the work you're doing, knowing that it's going to pay off, even if you're not getting the applause right now. When you work in silence, when you're grinding, when you're putting in the hours, you're building a foundation, you're creating something strong, something that's going to stand the test of time. But none of that comes easy. You can't skip the process. You can't rush the work. Every day is a step forward. Every day is another opportunity to get better, to improve, to push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. But you see, working hard in silence doesn't mean you don't face challenges. Oh, you will. You will face failure. You will face setbacks. You will face rejection. People will doubt you. But you can't let that stop you. The world doesn't owe you anything. You got to go out there and earn it one step at a time. And when those obstacles come your way, you can't quit. You can't give up. You keep going. When I look back at my own journey, I remember the long nights. I remember the times when I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, when things weren't moving as fast as I wanted them to. But I kept working. I kept pushing. And even when no one was watching, even when no one was there to cheer me on, I knew that the work I was putting in day after day was going to pay off. It wasn't going to happen overnight, but I knew it was going to happen. And I was willing to put in the time. Success isn't about who sees you. It's about what you're willing to do when no one else is looking. Success is about your consistency. It's about your effort, your commitment to getting better every single day. It's about waking up when the world is still asleep and doing the work when no one is watching. That's how you get ahead. That's how you separate yourself from the pack. You see, the biggest mistake people make is thinking that they're going to be noticed before they've put in the work. They think they can just show up and expect the world to recognize their greatness. But it don't work like that. You got to put in the grind. You got to stay focused on your vision, even when it feels like no one else understands it. You got to stay true to yourself, even when everyone around you is trying to tell you who you should be. People will try to tell you what you can't do. They'll try to tell you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're not strong enough. But I'm here to tell you that you are enough. You have what it takes to achieve whatever you set your mind to. But you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to outwork everyone else in the room. You can't expect to be great at something overnight. You can't expect to master your craft with just a few weeks or months of effort. It takes time. It takes repetition. It takes failure. And that's okay. Failure is not the end. Failure is the lesson. Failure is the opportunity to come back stronger, to learn from your mistakes and to keep going. Too many people quit too soon. Too many people give up right before they're about to break through. They think that because they hit a wall, that's the end, but it's not. The wall is just a test. It's a challenge. It's asking, are you willing to keep going? Are you willing to fight through the adversity and the struggle? And if you're truly committed, If you're truly focused on your vision, then you'll keep going. You'll break through that wall, and you'll come out stronger on the other side. The greatest people in history didn't get there by talking about their dreams. They didn't get there by asking for validation. They didn't get there by seeking approval. They got there by doing the work, by staying focused, by committing to their craft day in and day out, no matter the obstacles, no matter the setbacks. They stayed hungry. They stayed disciplined. And when the time came for them to shine, they were ready. You see, in this world, you've got to be your own biggest supporter. You can't wait for someone else to believe in you. You can't wait for the world to give you a pat on the back. You've got to be willing to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. You've got to be your own biggest fan, because there will be days when it feels like the whole world is against you. But you keep going, you keep moving forward. And listen, don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in the noise. People are going to tell you that you need to do this or you need to do that, but you got to stay true to your path. You got to stay true to what's in your heart. Because when it's all said and done, the only person you need to answer to is yourself. Are you willing to work hard in silence? Are you willing to put in the effort, even when no one's watching? Are you willing to stay focused on your goal, even when it feels like you're not getting any closer? Because that's what it takes. That's what separates the winners from the losers. It's the people who are willing to do the work day in and day out, without complaining, without looking for attention, without expecting praise. The people who understand that success isn't about what you say, it's about what you do, it's about the work, it's about the grind, it's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when it feels like you're not making any progress. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep putting in the work. And when the world finally notices, when they finally see the results of your hard work, it won't be a surprise. It'll be the culmination of everything you've done in silence, the sweat, the sacrifice, the hours you spent perfecting your craft. It'll all come together, and you'll know that you earned it. So get to work. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. Put in the hours, put in the effort, put in the sacrifices, and when the time comes, you'll be ready. Because you worked hard in silence. And success, it'll speak for itself. Work in silence, let your actions speak, focus on the work you're doing, not on the praise or recognition from others. Success is built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It's about consistency and effort, not seeking approval. Understand that failure is a part of the journey. When obstacles arise, they're not the end, but a test of your commitment. Keep pushing forward and use setbacks as opportunities for growth. The road to success is not always clear, and others may doubt or discourage you. Stay focused on your goals, believe in your path, and don't let outside opinions sway your determination. Commit to the long-term grind. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's the daily, persistent effort working when you're tired, when you feel discouraged, and when others aren't around. Trust the process, stay disciplined, and when the time is right, your work will speak for itself. You don't need to announce every step you take, every move you make. The world doesn't need to know what you're doing every second of the day. People love to talk, but you have to understand that talk is cheap. Words are easy. It's easy to talk about your dreams, your goals, your plans. But what separates the dreamers from the doers is simple action. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Because when it's all said and done, people won't remember what you said. They'll remember what you did. When you work in silence, you're building something that's yours. Something that's not about the validation of others, but about your own dedication. People around you may talk all day long about what they think you should be doing or how they think you should be doing it, but you know the truth. You know that your journey isn't about pleasing them. It's not about impressing anyone else. It's about the work, the grind, the hours you put in when no one's looking. That's where the real magic happens. See, there's power in silence. When you're working, focused, and determined, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You don't need to justify why you're putting in the hours. You don't need to tell people why you're up at 5 a.m. or why you're still working at midnight. You don't owe anyone an explanation. The results will speak for themselves. Your work will tell your story. When you're focused on your craft, you're not distracted by the noise. The world is full of distractions, opinions, expectations, social media, all of it. But when you're truly committed, you understand that you don't need any of that. You don't need to seek validation from anyone. The world doesn't owe you recognition. You have to earn it. And you earn it through the quiet, relentless pursuit of excellence. The world will notice when it's time. But until then, you keep working, you keep grinding, and you let the results do the talking. Here's the thing about working in silence: it forces you to be honest with yourself. You don't get to hide behind words, behind promises. You have to face the truth of your effort every single day. If you're putting in the work, you'll see the progress. If you're slacking off, you'll feel the consequences. It's just you and the work. And the work doesn't lie. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your struggles. The work just demands that you show up, give it your all, and trust that in time it will pay off. There's a level of humility that comes with working in silence. You don't need to brag about your hustle. You don't need to tell everyone how hard you're working. The work is personal. It's intimate. It's yours. The more you talk about it, the more you distract yourself from the real purpose. And the more you put your energy into talking, the less energy you have left to focus on the action that matters. You can talk all day about how you want to change the world, but unless you're putting in the effort, unless you're working every day, those words mean nothing. And here's the most important part: it's about consistency. Working in silence isn't a one-time thing. It's not about a burst of energy here and there. It's about the daily grind. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when no one else is around to cheer you on. It's about doing the work when it's hard, when it's frustrating, when it seems like you're not getting anywhere. That's when the real growth happens. That's when you build character. People love to see the results. They love to see success. But they don't see the sacrifices, the late nights, the early mornings, the sweat, the pain, the doubts. They don't see the tears you shed when no one's around. They don't see the sacrifices you make in order to get ahead. But if you keep working in silence, if you keep putting in the effort day after day, eventually the world will see the fruits of your labor. And when they do, it won't be a surprise. It'll be a testament to everything you did when no one was watching. There's a certain power in quiet confidence. You don't need to announce your greatness to the world. You don't need to boast about your abilities. If you're truly great, the world will see it. Your work will shine brighter than any words you could ever say. The more you focus on the process, the less you'll worry about how others perceive you. And when it's all said and done, when you look back at your journey, you'll know that it was all worth it because you didn't need to convince anyone. Challenges and failures aren't obstacles to success. They are a part of the process. They are the tests that every person has to go through on their way to greatness. They are the fire that refines you, the storm that shapes you. If you think success is going to be easy, if you think it's just a straight line to the top, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Life is full of hurdles, of setbacks, of times when it feels like everything is falling apart. But here's the truth: you will not grow unless you embrace those challenges and learn to rise from them. The hardest moments of your life are the ones that teach you the most. You may not realize it at the time, but it's in those difficult, painful moments that you learn who you really are. You find out how strong you can be. You discover the depth of your perseverance. You see what you're truly made of. And the best part, those challenges don't break you, they build you. They shape you into someone who can handle whatever life throws at you, who can face adversity head on and come out stronger on the other side. When you face a challenge, you have two options. You can either step back and quit, or you can rise up and push forward. The choice is always yours. No one can make that choice for you. No one can do the work for you. You have to decide how much you want it, how much you're willing to fight for it. Are you going to let a challenge defeat you, or are you going to learn from it, use it as fuel, and keep going? One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that failure is the end of the road. They think that one mistake, one setback means that they failed, that they'll never be able to move forward. But failure is not the end, it's a part of the journey. It's the way you learn. It's the way you grow. If you're not failing, then you're not trying hard enough. If you're not failing, it means you're playing it safe, you're avoiding risks, you're staying in your comfort zone. And if you want to be great, if you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to be willing to step out of that comfort zone. You have to be willing to fail. Failure doesn't define you. It's what you do after failure that matters. You can choose to stay down, to feel sorry for yourself, to blame others, or you can choose to get up, to learn from your mistakes, to find a new path, a new way forward. You can choose to make failure your teacher. You can choose to rise stronger than before. Because the truth is, failure is a lesson in disguise. It's showing you what you need to improve. It's showing you what went wrong and giving you the opportunity to do it better next time. But here's the thing about failure. It's not just about making mistakes. It's about how you respond to those mistakes. Are you going to give up, or are you going to get back in the game? Are you going to let failure define you, or are you going to learn from it and grow? Because what separates the successful from the unsuccessful is not how many times they fail, it's how many times they get up and keep going. The successful don't quit because of failure. They use it to fuel them. They use it as a stepping stone, not a roadblock. The road to success is not paved with easy victories. It's paved with trials, with hard work, with long hours, and with failure. You can't avoid failure, and you shouldn't want to. If you're not failing, it means you're not taking enough risks. It means you're not pushing yourself hard enough. It means you're not reaching for something greater. Failure is a sign that you're pushing the limits of your abilities, that you're striving for something bigger than yourself. And that's exactly what you need to do if you want to succeed. But here's the catch: you can't just embrace failure, you have to learn from it. Every time you fail, you have an opportunity to learn something new. You have an opportunity to figure out what went wrong and how to do it better next time. It's not about wallowing in the failure. It's about taking the lessons from it and using them to improve. Every setback is a chance to come back stronger, to be better than you were before. But that only happens if you choose to see failure as an opportunity to grow rather than as something to be feared or avoided. Embracing challenges and failure also means understanding that you're not going to have all the answers right away. You're not going to know everything from the start. You're not going to have all the tools, all the resources, all the knowledge you need to succeed in the beginning. But that's okay. The best way to learn is by doing. The best way to gain experience is by stepping into the unknown, by facing the challenges that scare you, by taking risks and learning as you go. You don't need to have everything figured out before you start. You just need the courage to begin and the willingness to learn from each experience along the way. And let's not forget, challenges and failure are inevitable. They're going to happen. No one is exempt from them. The greatest people in history, the ones who have achieved greatness, have all faced their fair share of challenges. They've all failed at some point. But what made them great was their ability to rise from those failures, to take the lessons they learned and use them to keep going, to never give up. Think about the greatest athletes, the greatest artists, the greatest leaders. None of them got to where they are by avoiding failure. They got there by embracing it. They got there by learning from their mistakes, by facing challenges head on. Staying true to your vision is about holding on to your purpose, your belief, and your direction in life, even when the world tries to pull you in different ways. Your vision is your compass. It's the one thing that can guide you when everything else feels uncertain. And the hardest part of pursuing your vision is not letting anything or anyone distract you from it, especially when the pressure mounts and the noise of the world grows louder. In the beginning, your vision is clear. You see the goal, the dream, and you're filled with passion and excitement. But over time, things get harder. People around you may not understand what you're trying to do. They might question you, doubt you, or even try to convince you to abandon your vision for something safer, something more conventional. They'll tell you it's too risky, too unrealistic. They'll tell you to take the easier path, to settle for what's in front of you. But here's the thing, they're not living your life, you are. Staying true to your vision means having the courage to follow your own path, Even when it feels lonely, even when the world seems to have a different plan for you, it's about trusting yourself when others may not. It's about having the strength to stay focused, even when things aren't moving as fast as you want them to, or when success seems distant. Your vision is not just a dream, it's the roadmap to your future. And if you let the world sway you, if you let the doubts of others cloud your vision, you're going to lose the very thing that will lead you to where you want to go. It's important to understand that staying true to your vision requires sacrifice. It's not easy, and it's not always comfortable. There will be times when you have to make tough choices that might mean walking away from opportunities that seem appealing but don't align with your true purpose. You may have to say no to things, to people, or to situations that might offer temporary satisfaction but ultimately won't bring you closer to your vision. People often want to stay in their comfort zones to avoid making sacrifices, to avoid facing the hard truths. But if you're serious about your vision, you'll realize that comfort and success rarely coexist. Staying true to your vision. When you have a clear vision, you're putting yourself out there. You're showing the world who you really are and what you truly believe in. People might not get it. They might criticize you. They might question your decisions. They might even mock you or belittle your dream. But you have to realize that their opinions are just that, opinions. They don't determine your future. They don't define who you are or what you can accomplish. Your vision is yours. It's not meant for everyone to understand right away. And that's okay. People who doubt you, they're the ones who are not willing to take risks, not willing to step outside their own comfort zones, not willing to believe in something bigger than themselves. But you're different. You're the one with the courage to follow your heart, to pursue something that may not even make sense to others. That's the power of your vision. It's your unique calling. And while it's important to listen to advice, especially from those who have walked the path before you, there comes a point when you have to trust your own instincts, trust your own understanding of where you're going, and trust that your vision will guide you through the toughest of times. One of the most challenging parts of staying true to your vision is the period of uncertainty. There will be moments when you feel lost, when it feels like things are falling apart, when you wonder if you're even on the right path. You'll question yourself. You'll doubt your ability to make it through. And that's normal. But those moments of doubt are the tests of your vision's strength. They are the moments that reveal whether your vision is strong enough to carry you through. They will either make you or break you. And if your vision is real, if it's truly meant for you, you'll find the strength to keep going. You'll remember why you started in the first place. You'll hold on to that belief, even when everything else feels uncertain. People who are successful in life don't get there by following someone else's vision. They get there by following their own. They get there by sticking to what they believe in, even when others don't understand, even when the odds are stacked against them. They don't change their course because of the opinions of others, because of the doubters, or because of the challenges they face. They stay true to their vision, knowing that every obstacle is just another step toward where they want to be. You may encounter setbacks. You may face roadblocks that seem impossible to overcome. But the people who stay true to their vision are the ones who keep moving forward, even when it seems like the world is telling them to stop. They keep pushing, they keep striving, they keep believing that their vision will come to fruition. They don't let short-term setbacks derail them from their long-term goals. And that's what makes them unstoppable. Because no matter how many times they fail, they know their vision is worth fighting for. Staying true to your vision also means not getting distracted by other people's success. It's easy to look at someone else and think they've got it all figured out. They're further along than I am. Maybe I should be doing what they're doing. But that's a trap. You can't compare your journey to someone else's. Your vision is unique to you. Your path is different. Just because someone else seems to be ahead doesn't mean they're on the right track for you. You don't know the sacrifices they're making, the challenges they're facing, or the toll it's taking on them. So focus on your own vision. Focus on your own path. Your success is going to come in your own time, on your own terms, and when you stay focused on what's right for you, that's when the real magic happens. It's easy to get discouraged, to feel like your vision isn't coming fast enough, or like things aren't moving the way you expected. But remember, success is not a race. It's not about getting to the destination as quickly as possible. It's about the journey. It's about how much you're willing to invest in yourself, how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much you're willing to trust the process. It's about staying true to your vision, even when the path is unclear, and knowing that every step you take is moving you closer to the person you're meant to be. When you're true to your vision, you're not just working toward a goal. You're living your truth. You're living in alignment with who you are, with what you believe, and with what you are meant to accomplish. And that is the most powerful place you can be. That is the place where real fulfillment lies. Because when you're aligned with your vision, you're not just pursuing something to prove to others or to chase after fame or recognition. You're pursuing something that is deeply meaningful to you. And when you do that, success follows naturally. So stay true to your vision, even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress, even when the world seems to be telling you to change course. Trust yourself, trust the journey. Because in the end, staying true to your vision is the only way to truly find your purpose and create the life you were meant to live. The long-term grind is something that too many people overlook, and it's one of the biggest reasons why they don't achieve the success they desire. People are so quick to look for shortcuts, for fast fixes, for overnight success stories that they forget that greatness is rarely achieved in a moment. Greatness is earned, and it's earned over time. It's the result of daily effort, discipline, and a commitment to the grind, even when it doesn't feel like anything is happening. When you commit to the long-term grind, you are signing up for something much bigger than just a series of tasks or a goal at the end of the road. You're signing up for the process, for the journey, for the daily work that may not always seem glamorous, but is absolutely essential. Success is not an event, it's a lifestyle. And if you're not willing to put in the work day after day, year after year, you're not going to see the results. But if you are, if you stay committed, if you're willing to push through the tough times, the rewards will come. Too often, people want instant results. They want to see progress right away. They want to feel the payoff without putting in the sweat and struggle. But success doesn't work like that. The most successful people in the world didn't get there by taking shortcuts. They didn't get there by waiting for the stars to align or for the perfect moment to come along. They got there by committing to the grind day in and day out when it wasn't easy, when no one was watching, when they were tired, when they doubted themselves. They stayed committed to the process, and that's why they succeeded. You have to understand that the grind isn't always fun. There will be days when you don't feel like doing the work. There will be times when you question why you're putting in so much effort and seeing so little return. But this is where most people fail. They give up too soon. They hit a roadblock, and instead of pushing through, they turn around and go back to where it's comfortable. But if you want success, if you want greatness, you have to stay the course. You have to commit to the grind even when it feels like you're not making any progress, because progress is rarely linear. It's rarely as quick as you expect. But over time, if you keep putting in the work, the results will come. The long-term grind is about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when no one is congratulating you for the work you're putting in. It's about making a commitment to your goals and sticking to it, even when the immediate results aren't apparent. Consistency is key because it's the little things you do day after day, the habits you build, the discipline you cultivate that add up over time. The small steps, the small victories, the incremental improvements, they may not seem like much at first, but in the long run, they make all the difference. Think about the people who have achieved greatness. Think about the athletes who train for years to perfect their craft, the musicians who practice hours every day to master an instrument, the entrepreneurs who build their businesses one small decision at a time. None of these people achieved success overnight. They didn't wake up one day and magically become the best in their field. They put in the work day after day, year after year, until they became great. And the same applies to you. The long-term grind requires patience, persistence, and a deep commitment to the process, even when things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like. One of the most difficult aspects of the long-term grind is the loneliness. When you're working hard and not seeing immediate results, it can feel like you're the only one putting in the effort. You might look around and see other people achieving success while you're still grinding away. It can be discouraging, especially when it feels like you're not making any progress. But this is when you need to dig deep. You need to remind yourself why you're doing this, why you made the commitment in the first place. The grind doesn't always come with applause or recognition. It doesn't always come with a pat on the back. But it's during these lonely times that your character is forged. It's in the silence, in the struggle, that you find out what you're really made of. Are you willing to continue even when no one notices? Are you willing to push forward even when it feels like nothing is happening? If you are, that's when the magic happens. Staying committed to the grind also means having the discipline to keep going even when you feel like quitting. It's about fighting the urge to give up when things get tough. It's about pushing through when your body is tired, when your mind is overwhelmed, when you feel like you've given all you have to give. This is where the champions are made. This is where the difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies. It's in those moments of doubt, those moments when you feel like it's too hard, that you have to make a choice. Do you give up? Or do you dig deeper, push harder, and keep going? Because if you keep going, if you don't quit, you'll eventually reach your destination. But if you stop, you'll never know how close you were. You have to commit to the long-term grind, not just when things are easy, but especially when things get tough. Success isn't just about the good days. It's about the bad days too. It's about the days when you feel like giving up. It's about the days when you don't want to work, when everything seems against you, and yet you still show up. The grind is a test of your dedication, of your commitment, of your resilience. It's about proving to yourself that you are willing to go the distance no matter what. The long-term grind is also about growth. Every step you take, every challenge you face, every setback you experience is an opportunity to grow. The process of grinding isn't just about achieving a goal, it's about becoming the person you need to be in order to achieve that goal. The grind forces you to develop new skills, to face your fears, to improve, to learn from your mistakes, and to grow stronger. If you're not committed to the grind, you're not committed to growth. And without growth, you can't achieve the success you're aiming for. The grind molds you into a stronger, better version of yourself. And that's the real reward. Another part of the grind is understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination. It's easy to get caught up in the end result. You focus so much on where you want to be that you forget to appreciate where you are now. The grind is not just about the goal, it's about who you become while working toward that goal. The small victories, the lessons learned, the person you're becoming through the struggle are just as important as the success itself. When you commit to the grind, you're not just chasing something outside of yourself, you're also developing the mindset, the habits, and the strength needed to sustain that success once you achieve it. The grind is not glamorous and it's not always exciting. There will be days when you wonder if it's worth it. There will be days when you question whether you're making progress or just spinning your wheels. But the key to success is not in avoiding those days, it's in embracing them, continuing to push through, and trusting that each day you put in the work is one step closer to your dream. It's about making the decision that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, you're going to stay committed to the grind. Success is a long-term game. If you want to be great, you have to be willing to commit to the grind for the long haul. And remember, the grind doesn't just build your success, it builds your character. It builds your resilience. It builds your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. So commit to the grind. Stay focused and keep going. Because the grind is what will get you to the top, and the grind is what will keep you there.